Let's speak to David Hickson from the Fair Telecoms campaign. Afternoon to you, David.
Good afternoon, Ian.
And of course, just to distinguish here, these are different calls from the person that rings up with a suspicious accent pretending to be from HMRC, telling you haven't paid enough tax or you've paid too much tax and there's a big rebate and therefore they're going to steal your money. These are companies who are selling a product, but arguably one that you simply don't need, and you certainly don't need 1,000 phone calls to tell you.
Exactly. This falls within the scope of a regulation that's fairly easily applied, even though it's taken, in this case, 2 years to bring these people to book. The calls for which they've been fined all happened about 2 years ago. So it's a very long and lengthy and laborious process. We really do need some regulation that's more effective, that's more direct and more inclusive. For example, the people called, the number of calls that were registered as being an offence were only those whose numbers were registered with the telephone preference service. 20% of the calls these companies made were to people who weren't registered with the telephone preference service, and therefore, in terms of the regulations, were regarded as perfectly legal. Now, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
We should outlaw this method of marketing full stop, so that anybody would know if you get a phone call from someone you're not expecting, maybe they're trying to sell you something, maybe they're trying to talk you into something,
Sure.
It's bound to be a scam, because no legitimate operator would ever use this technique.
And do these companies identify, once somebody buys one of these products, do they then, is that number then flagged as, this is we've got a good one here, let's go again?
It may be the case. There are some suspicions about this, that once you've been identified as a likely victim, your number will be shared or may be used by the same company doing some other scam. It's always quite difficult to know just exactly who's behind these. There are agencies. In most cases, the numbers used by these companies were bought off some other party.
Yeah.
Now, quite who that was and how they got hold of that information, we don't really know. But it is a dodgy business. What we need to do is outlaw telephone marketing. Simple as that. And there are regulators who are far better placed to do that than the Information Commissioner's Office, who, fair enough, they do their best with the powers they've got, but there are much more powerful regulators who should be on the scene much, much faster. In this case, the Financial Conduct Authority,
You'd think so.
to regulate this business.
Yeah, and presumably these are legit companies. The fact that they can be identified and fined means that they are, that they're, one would assume, unless there's other little gremlins in the wardrobe we don't know about, but they are acting legally, even if it's in an unsafe manner.
No, they're not. If they're selling household...
Or they exist legally, rather.
They exist legally, but if they're selling household insurance, they are required to register with the Financial Conduct Authority, who regulates all insurance business, and it would appear, as far as we can see, that not one of those 5 companies was registered with the Financial Conduct Authority, and in one case, the Financial Conduct Authority had put out a warning about them because they were operating illegitimately in that market.
Listen, thank you, David, for your time. Appreciate that. David Hickson is from the Fair Telecoms campaign.